most succulent, delicious fried chicken that ever passed your lips.
Hello everybody, I am Tender Chicken Guy, and welcome back to my channel. I primarily don't do these type of things, but I really enjoyed doing this for Batman Beyond and the Batman Beyond villains. I got to thinking the other day, what if I did this for the Justice League? Essentially tiering the most powerful, and what I think the most powerful heroes are in the Justice League to the weakest. For this, I am going to be doing just the first 7 from the original cartoon, and then once I have them placed in, I will be doing every single hero in the Justice League from Justice League Unlimited, but that's going to be a really big video. So for now, I'm just going to make it simple, and we're just going to place the first 7. And it's going to be interesting, because I don't think that the characters are where people would probably usually put them. I know everybody likes to hype Batman all the time, but you'd be surprised where I'll be putting him, and you'd be surprised where I'll be putting some of the other characters. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, I am going to be rating this 4 different ways. The first way is I'm going to be rating them based solely on skill, which means without powers in a fight, who do I think would come out on top? Not just in that, but with powers, if they all had the same kind of power, who would be the most effective with that power? And that goes into the second way I'd be scaling them, is effectiveness. For instance, who would be more effective of putting out a fire? Superman or Green Lantern? Who would be more effective of stopping a flood? Superman or Green Lantern? And so on. It's not necessarily about raw power in that regard, it's more so about how their power is being used. And it has nothing to do with skill, because Superman could have a Green Lantern's ring, and then that would require skill, but this is based on effectiveness in a situation. And thirdly, we're going to be going with raw power. And with raw power, I mean, if you told one of, like, say, the Flash, go blow up a building, the Flash could probably do it, but could he do it as effectively as Superman? Probably not. Superman would have more raw physical strength than Batman. So in terms of raw power, I will be scaling people based on how easy it is for them to destroy something, and like how long it would take them to do it. And then lastly, I will be judging them based on hacks, which essentially means like Wonder Woman's lasso of truth. That's a hacks, right? It's not like really something you can quantify as powerful necessarily. Same would go for Hawkgirl's mace. It can disrupt a magic, so that is a hack's ability in that regard. I also will be judging each of the 7 shown based on 2 villains, and I think this is pretty fair. So if Darkseid or Doomsday showed up in the just showed up on the ground, which one of these 7 would you prefer come to aid you? Like, which one of these 7 would you want on the scene to fight these 2 guys? So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to start with Green Lantern. Now, for Green Lantern, I think it's very important to remember that his abilities are based on willpower. So in terms of when we're going by skill, he's very skilled. Green Lantern is very, very skilled with his ring. Not only is he a skilled fighter, but he's a skilled thinker. Like, this guy is able to construct very complex and very tedious mechanisms and constructs on like a drop of a dime. He's very skilled with his ring. One of the most skilled Green Lanterns in the entire court. And that is saying something. In terms of raw power, Green Lantern is one of the most powerful members in the entire Justice League Unlimited lineup. We're including all of the characters from Unlimited. I believe it was Far From Home episode of Justice League Unlimited where it's just literally stated that Green Lantern is more powerful than Supergirl.
Why'd you save me first?
My decision was based on pure logic.
Really? Because Green Lantern's the most powerful.
No offense, but I really don't think you could follow.
He's more powerful than a Kryptonian. That's not to say he's more powerful than Superman necessarily, but he's more powerful than Supergirl, who by herself was taking on the entirety of the Legion of Superheroes. And they're saying Green Lantern was more stronger than that. So, also Green Lantern, without a ring, is a very skilled combatant. He's very capable in an actual, just straight up fist fight. In terms of hacks, well, let me back up. In terms of effectiveness, Green Lantern is one of the most diverse and one of the most creative members of the original 7 and of the Justice League in general. Like, of all of the lineup, he is the guy you want in pretty much every situation. If he can't beat the villain or save the day, he can definitely stall or find creative solutions to hold up or buy time for someone else to come and assist. He's also one of the most effective people you want in space. Like, I can't really think of anybody else I would want fighting in space but him. Like, he can breathe in space, he can travel in space, he can make constructs in space. He's the guy you want for a space mission. In terms of hacks, he's not like the most hacked character in the 7, but he's definitely has his fair share of hacks. I think one of the biggest hacks he has is the ability to like use his power ring on other people. Like, he's able to shield Batman when Batman climbed into a nuclear reactor. He's able to shield the Flash when he was running towards the sun in the Eclipse episode. He's able to save people underwater. It comes back to the effectiveness, kind of. It's not really a hacks necessarily. It's his power. Like, that is his power. It doesn't have any like really huge secondary abilities other than constructs, but it does give him enhanced strength and enhanced endurance. And it is also to be noted that Green Lantern was so powerful that when Amazo came back to Earth, he and Superman and then a few others were the first responders to try to stop him. So he is definitely up there. I would say probably in the A tier. Definitely, I would say Green Lantern's probably in the top 10 most powerful of the entire Justice League Unlimited, just because of his crazy utility. He has such a huge arsenal of different constructs he can pull. Alright, next we're gonna go with Hawkgirl. Now, this is going to be interesting, and I want you all to hear me out here. I don't think Hawkgirl is in A tier, and I don't think Hawkgirl is in B tier. I would put Hawkgirl in C tier. And my reasoning for this is because, well, let's go through the ranks. The first rank, or the first tiering, would be in terms of skill. Now, Hawkgirl's very skilled. He was a detective on Thanagar, and She was a natural warrior and a policeman. She's very skilled. She is a very, very good combatant fighter. I would say she's probably even a little better than Batman in terms of physicality. Like, she can brawl better than Batman. But here's the problem. This is why I don't think she's would be able to take Batman in a fight. She's very hot-headed. She's very arrogant on the field, and she doesn't think about the battlefield and about the surroundings as much. She's very gung-ho, and even though she's very intelligent and a very good fighter, she's very headstrong, and often her losses in the show are because of that. She bites off more than she can chew quite a bit. Now, in terms of her raw power, she's not that powerful. Honestly, she's stronger than the average person by a good margin. Like, she probably would, if she was alive today, she'd probably be around the strength of like the world's strongest man or something like that, which is strong, but it's not Superman strong, right? That's like, could probably lift a car up off the back wheels strong. She's not throwing cars around though. She's definitely stronger than Batman, and physically she's stronger than the Flash, but she's not as strong as Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Superman, or even Green Lantern in terms of physical strength. Now, she can fly, but her flight is via wings, which often can be kind of detrimental to her in combat. They are more of a hindrance sometimes than they're worth. Like, if they get harmed or if they get frozen, she's going to fall. So that is one advantage she has. She has flight. But in terms of like, if you wanted someone to fly really quick to get to your location, you wouldn't call her. She would not get there in time. Now, in terms of her hacks, she does have, her mace is very good. Like, it's a really good weapon, and that's primarily the only reason why she's able to hang around with Justice League, in my opinion, is because she has that weapon. Because if she didn't have that weapon, she would just be flying around. It'd be like a flying around, like, strongest man on the earth with wings, flying around, like, trying to beat up bad guys. Like, she would get shot at, she would get like punched, and she would not survive that long, I don't think, without some kind of a gadget. And this mace is the gadget that really makes her shine. Not only is she the only person in the league who can nullify magic, I think just overall in general, even in Justice League Unlimited, all the magic users like Zatanna, Etrigan, and Dr. Fate, I don't think they could neutralize magic. But Hawkgirl can neutralize it.
Nobody home.
I want to see for myself. Magic.
Let me give it a shot. After you.
Due to the nymph metal mace. And it's not just the fact that it's super effective against magic. It's also has magic properties itself.
I've learned the hard way that the energy dampening properties of this device can disrupt fundamental forces. So I've kept it hidden in a pocket dimension, away from the magic that must flow freely in my home. But if you are truly ready to take up the fight again...
Harm people on Superman's tier. It seems to give her more attack potency. Now, in terms of effectiveness, Hawkgirl's effective fighter. Like, she is definitely going to go in swinging. But she would not be my first call against someone like Doomsday or Darkseid if they showed up. She would probably not even be in my top 10. Not for them. She would go down really easily, I think, especially against Doomsday, because Doomsday would just get hit a few times with her mace and adapt to it, and that'd be it. But yeah, I do think she's good. Like, I don't think she's like bad. In terms of who I think's completely worthless, that's going to be F tier, and she's not in F tier, she's in C tier. So it's like, who would you call her to take on, like, I don't know, like a bunch of hijackers or something? Yeah, I would call her for that. But she's not anywhere near the top, I don't think. Okay, let's go next with Batman. Now, hear me out, guys. I know everybody's like, oh, but he's Batman. It's Batman. He can beat anybody. Batman's, you know, he's able to do it, beat everybody. Yeah, Batman is probably. Let's go. Let me go through the ranking. Okay, so first off, we have skill. I think Batman, in terms of martial art skill, is actually not as good as a fighter as Hawkgirl or Wonder Woman. But he's smarter in terms of being a tactician. So what I mean by that is Hawkgirl and Wonder Woman are both headstrong warrior types. They're going to go in and they're going to just get lost in the heat of battle. Batman's always thinking like 10 steps ahead. He's always using the environment to his benefit. He's a mortal man in a suit with gadgets, fighting with gods. So he has to be 10 steps ahead of everybody. He has to use his surrounding. He has to use everything at his disposal to even that gap.
You really should be resting. I know this must be hard for you, feeling vulnerable. You're the only one of us without special powers. But you don't need to prove yourself. You're a valued member of this team, and we're only trying to...
I'm taking the shuttle. Unless you want to try and stop me.
No.
Seriously, Lex, you need me.
Like I need skin rash.
Maybe so, but I know something you don't know. I know how the Bat thinks.
So even though he's weaker in terms of physical strength and not as fast, not as skilled fighting, he's a better tactician, which means he's going to allow people who are stronger and faster to make mistakes and take advantage of them. And because of that, I am putting Batman above Hawkgirl, because I think that if the two of them had to fight, Batman would not only have an entire dossier on how to take her down, but he would also just straight up be able to use her like fighting style. He'd be able to use it against her. He would get rid of the mace, and then he would use just a bunch of tools and gadgets. Batman would be able to take Hawkgirl down, I believe. Now, why am I putting him in C tier? Well, I could put him in B tier, potentially. We will see how that goes. But at the moment, I think C is a good spot for him, because if anybody in the Justice League were the guy you want to call to like be in your corner in terms of being a tactician, like, you don't necessarily want Batman on the field fighting against Doomsday and Darkseid. He wouldn't last long. But as the guy in your ear telling you what to do and the strategies he could kick out and the information he has, you want Batman on your team.
Batman, I've got a problem.
You don't say.
I found a bomb. You gotta talk me through disarming it.
Okay, remove the lid.
Already done.
Don't jump ahead. Do exactly as I say.
I opened it before I called.
Ah!
Batman, you okay?
Grasp the red metal collar with both hands. Pull it straight up. It's magnetized. Don't touch the sides or it'll blow up the whole block.
Done.
Disconnect the following wires and in precisely this order. Blue, yellow and black striped. Red, then black.
Okay, what next?
You're done. Find another one.
I'm on it!
Your team. So he's definitely one of those characters that earns his place in the league based on his raw skill and effectiveness. Like, he's very effective. He's a detective, analyst, scientist. He like studies villains. He knows how to take them down. He knows their powers or weaknesses. he's not the kind of guy who goes in without a plan. If you see Batman on the field, he usually has a plan already. He fights with gods, let's be honest. He fights with, like, actual gods, and he's a mortal man.
Force on Earth. As you know, I was in charge of Project Cadmus. Over the years, I came to respect Batman, even trust him.
Guess the law of averages means somebody'd have to.
Did you know I was the government liaison with the Justice League for a while? I met some extraordinary people in that job, but none of them were the equal of Batman.
Right. Who could be?
Not my point. I saw him save the day dozens of times, with nothing but his wits, body, and will. But I saw something else as the years passed. He was getting older, slower. Soon he'd have to retire, or more likely, someone would finally manage to kill him. The thought of a world without Batman was unacceptable. So I decided to make a new one.
Are in Gotham City. Who do I call? Who do I want on the scene? Do I want Batman or Hawkgirl? Which one's the most effective? Which one is going to be able to buy the most time and do the most work? I'm picking Batman. I think Batman would be able to put more work in than Hawkgirl would. Batman just has a gadget for everything. And now I don't think he's an A tier though, because Batman would not survive long against Darkseid and Doomsday. Neither would Hawkgirl. Green Lantern might be able to, like, last pretty long time, but eventually he's going down too, so. Okay, next up we have the Martian Manhunter. Now, I'm putting the Martian Manhunter in A tier. And the reason why I put him above Green Lantern is because, now hear me out, the Martian Manhunter is, I think he's like 1,000 years, I don't know, he's really old. Like, he's been around a long time. And not only has he been around a long time, he was a soldier on Mars. He helped fight against the White Martians, or whatever they were called. He was the one who managed to somehow beat him. He was in stasis. He is a super intelligent, probably the smartest person in the original 7, in terms of just the amount of information he can process. There's a reason why he, like, leads the Justice League Unlimited team. He's just that smart. He's also a sidekick. So not only is he reading people's minds as he's fighting, he's also learning what they know and incorporating it into himself. So in terms of skill, Martian Manhunter is insanely skilled. Not only is he insanely intelligent as a detective, he's also extremely smart when it comes to physiology, in terms of the astral plane, dreamscape. This guy has been pretty much in everyone's head at some point.
Okay by me. Start with these.
We're running out of time. I'll take the information from him.
I thought you couldn't read their minds.
I'll just have to try harder. I have what we need.
Very intelligent, very skilled with his abilities. In terms of raw power, Martian Manhunter is up there with Superman. He's a Superman tier being. Now, I would say in terms of raw, just absolute raw physical strength, Superman is above Martian Manhunter, because we know that Superman holds back, like, all the time. He very rarely ever goes all out. But I'd say Martian Manhunter probably matches physically, at his most, like, powerful, a suppressed Superman.
He's as strong as we are, but there's one thing he can't do.
I think they're probably on the same playing field in terms of physicality. Where I would give Martian Manhunter an edge, though, is the fact that Martian Manhunter has insane amount of hacks. Probably the most hacks out of all 7. Like, he's insanely hacked out. Effectiveness, he's very effective. Hacks wise, in conjunction with his physical and skill, he's very powerful. Like, we're talking about a guy who can enter your mind, read your mind, find know what you're gonna do, and then either one, shapeshift into something that could take you down, 2, turn intangible and go right through your punches, and then turn tangible and punch you with the force of Superman, or 2, just shut your brain down, or 3, I meant 3, shut your brain down. Martian Manhunter could take you down in like many ways, and I think there's a reason why he leads the league in Justice League Unlimited. Like, he's the man who's at the top. And even though I think Superman's physically stronger in a fight between the two, I could see Martian Manhunter taking him down. So for that reason, I'm putting him at the top of the A above Green Lantern. Because if I had to choose between the two of them, if Darkseid and Doomsday showed up on Earth, which of these two would I want on the scene first? Both of them, but Martian Manhunter I would want there if I couldn't have both of them, because he would probably be able to beat Doomsday, maybe. He'd have to do it quick. Darkseid, he'd definitely be able to hold off Darkseid until help showed up for sure. Probably a long time, probably hours. Yeah, I think that Martian Manhunter is more powerful than Green Lantern. Possibly. I don't want to say anything yet until we get into the Justice League Unlimited characters, because a lot of those characters are probably going to be above him, believe it or not. But I would almost say that Martian Manhunter should be an S tier just for his hacks alone. It's insane. Every single time he gets beaten in the show, it's not because somebody just straight up overpowers him. It's because of stupid stuff, right? Superman gets knocked back, and then Superman gets knocked into Martian Manhunter, and Martian Manhunter gets knocked back. Or Martian Manhunter gets caught off guard or something. It's dumb stuff. In an absolute, just straight up knockout fight, he's never once been beaten. Never. Martian Manhunter has never been beaten physically by anybody. So, I think A is a good spot for him. Next, we have Wonder Woman. Now, I do believe that Wonder Woman is... Now, this is going to be interesting. I should have waited to do this for Justice League Unlimited, so it'll make more sense. But I already discussed how Green Lantern is above Supergirl. That's pretty clear. They just straight up said it in the show, that Supergirl is weaker than Green Lantern. Well, Wonder Woman, I would say, is stronger than Supergirl physically, and is a better fighter, is not as hot-headed and rash, has some magical protection, has a hacks lasso, which is unbreakable, which can force submission and truth from people. But I don't think Wonder Woman is as durable as Supergirl, because Supergirl's bulletproof and stab-proof, and Wonder Woman's not. That said, I think Wonder Woman would be able to just straight up hand the girl's ass to her on a plate. She's a Superman tiered character. She's able to throw hands with Superman tiered beings. And she's, I would say, probably up there with Martian Manhunter in terms of physicality. She's on a suppressed Superman tier. And she actually just straight up beat Superman's ass. In the Hades episode, she just beat him up because they thought each other were demons.
Diana, it's me!
So she can handle her own. but she can bleed. Like, she can get hurt by really silly stuff. She can, you know, like, she's fast. She's really fast. She can block attacks. But, like, honestly, I think Green Lantern, if they fought, I think Green Lantern could beat her. Like how John Stewart, I think he could beat her. Martian Manhunter definitely could beat her. It's not even a question. But I think Green Lantern could beat her. In terms of skill, she's very skilled. Like, she's more skilled than Batman and Hawkgirl. She's an Amazon warrior. She's immortal in terms of doesn't age. She's been trained by literal gods. She's has magic armor, a magic lasso. Very skilled. Very. I don't think she's been able to ricochet pretty much every weapon and attack thrown at her with her bracelets. In terms of raw power, like I said, she's up there with Superman and Martian Manhunter. In terms of use, like effectiveness, she's very effective at what she does, especially when it comes to getting truth out of people. And in terms of hacks, well, the only hack she really has is her lasso of truth, which is useful in certain circumstances, but I would never call it like an OP hacks or anything. Like, it's not gonna save the day or anything like that. But I would put her currently below Green Lantern. It's very close though. I would almost like put them neck and neck in terms of like which one of these two would you rather show up to fight Doomsday. Well, better example, let's take Green Lantern and put him in her position against Mongol. Do you think Green Lantern would fare better against Mongol than Wonder Woman did?
Honest, don't you think? Than this pretense of being a selfless hero. You don't understand. He was the only obstacle in my way. The rest of you are already dead.
He'll kill her, Clark. And then he'll kill us all. Shake it off. Come back to us. Please.
Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I'm gonna put her there for now. Okay. In terms of Superman, well, I don't think it's gonna surprise anybody for putting Superman in S tier. Let's be honest. Superman is the backbone of the Justice League. Not just because of his power set, but because of what he represents. Like, he represents the world's heroes. Like, when people think of the Justice League, they think of Superman. He is their symbol. With that said, though, let's go through the rankings and see where he stands. In terms of skill, now this is interesting. Like I was saying at the beginning of the video, if you took all 7 of these people's powers away and just put them in a ring with a fist fight, who would come up on top? I think Superman or Clark Kent, without his superpowers, would just get his ass beat by everybody here, even the Flash. Because Superman's always had his powers. He's always had them. He's never known what it was to not have them. So I don't think he like knows or would know how to fight without them. Like, he wouldn't know how much force to throw his fist at somebody to knock him out. He wouldn't know how fast he'd have to move to dodge. He wouldn't know like he lived taking punches from like Doomsday and whatnot. He's not going to know what to do in a fight against Batman. Batman's or Hawker or Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, who was a soldier, John Stewart, who was a Marine, and the Flash, who was a police forensics analyst, who probably went through standard military school or police training. Superman's not going to know any of that. He's a farm boy. So in terms of skill, physicality-wise, he's not that good. Now, in terms of skill of his abilities, he's very good because he was born with them, and he's learned how to use them since a young age. Like, he's very skilled with his eye powers and hearing, and he's pretty much using his super hearing at all times. But in terms of overall skill, if you gave his same powers to Batman or John Stewart, I honestly think Batman and John Stewart would probably be better Supermen than Superman would, because they would just have better training, better skills. But that's like the weak point for Superman. All right, let's get into the good stuff. Raw power. Superman. I don't think like Superman is by far the most physically strongest member of the entire Justice League Unlimited. Like all I think it's like what 70 or 80 members. He's the strongest out of all of them. And even though I think it's kind of funny how he's only ever went all out like once against Darkseid, apparently, when he should have been going all out against other people. He in fact does hold back a lot because Superman is living amongst like really fragile people, and he has to constantly keep himself in check because Superman can literally like blow mountains away with his sneezes. So like he needs to constantly be careful about that. Physicality wise, he's physically able to pretty much take down everybody physically that he's come across against. The only few people he hasn't been able to physically beat down were Doomsday, Grundy, magically enhanced Grundy because he was magic and Superman's weak against magic, and Amazo, and Mr. Mix's Spitalik, and I think like I don't know. Oh, Carkle from the Superman animated series, which is Dr. Fate villain. So everybody he hasn't been able to just straight up beat physically has either been a magically induced foe or somebody who has hacks abilities like Doomsday, where he can just adapt. So yeah, Superman is raw power wise the strongest there is. Like if Doomsday or Darkseid showed up and you were like, we need someone to come save us, Superman would probably just straight up be able to just, you know, beat him.
I feel like I live in a world made of cardboard, always taking constant care not to break something, to break someone. Never allowing myself to lose control, even for a moment, or someone could die. But you can take it, can't you, big man? What we have here is a rare opportunity for me to cut loose and show you just how powerful I really am.
In terms of effectiveness, Superman is one of the most effective heroes there is. Like, he has a plethora of abilities he can rely on. He can freeze fires, water. He can use his heat vision to fix, like, weld things together, cut stuff open. He has super hearing. He can hear from miles away. Super eyesight, telescopic eyesight. He can fly really, like, one of the fastest flyers. He's super fast, almost as fast as the Flash. He's a very effective person in almost every scenario. In terms of hacks, I wouldn't really call anything of his necessarily a hacks. You could argue that heat vision and cold breath and super hearing and telescopic vision are haxes. But he uses them so much that they're kind of just like part of his superpower like lineup thing. I don't really call them in hacks necessarily. That's like saying that like Killer Frost, her power is a hacks. It's like, I guess technically it could be a hacks, but it's not really. It's just kind of like their ability, pretty much. But yeah, Superman. What is this? Oh my god, we have the Flash left. Where am I going to put Flash? Oh my god. Is Flash going to be in the S tier? Could it be? Is Flash? What the? Oh my god. Flash is stronger than Superman? What the heck? That can't be, could it? Well, actually it can. You see, Superman's not the only one who holds back. Apparently, the Flash holds back all the time as well. And this is seen in many instances where the Flash just straight up holds back.
Give it up, Luthor. down!
His vibrations create an unstable resonance.
Which is why the real Flash doesn't do it.
That's how fast Flash is. But it gets better. Because not only is the Flash the fastest man alive by proving it, by beating Superman in a race, he also hasn't even tapped into like the true Speed Force. As seen when Lutherac, when Brainiac and Luthor fused together, the Flash is the only person who is not only able to hurt him, but able to take him down. Like, we're talking about Superman, Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman. All these characters were getting thrown around like nothing, and then the Flash decides to get serious, and he taps into the Speed Force. He goes so fast that he actually goes into the Speed Force, and in the comics, doing that is considered an insane feat. Like, they in the comics, we're not talking about the comics. This is self-contained. We're not talking about feats from the comics. But in the comics, the Flash throw Superboy Prime into the Speed Force and trap him there, and he couldn't get out. So it's pretty impressive that the Flash was able to get into the Speed Force to begin with. But on top of this, on the episode Brain Robbery, when Lex Luthor takes over Flash's mind, the Flash is stated by Green Lantern that if he gets out, he will be unstoppable, because Lex is willing to do things that Wally West was never willing to do with his powers, which include vibrating his fingers through a man's head, turning the atoms in the air into like miniature bombs by making them moving so fast they detonate, able to phase through walls. Like, the Flash, if he was like just straight up bloodlusted, could end pretty much everybody here. He's insane. Like, he's the only I can't stress this enough. He's the only person who was able to take down Lutherac. Lutherac was going to kill everybody. And not only that, but it was stated by John Stewart himself that if Lex Luthor got out of the Watchtower with Flash's body, he would be unstoppable. And he took down the entire Justice League team in the Watchtower. Granted, they probably were caught off guard because they weren't expecting the Flash to do that, but it doesn't matter. The Flash still did it. He took down the likes of Captain Atom. He took down the likes of Supergirl. I believe it was Supergirl. I could be wrong. It was like a few others. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a bunch. But yeah, the Flash is insane. And like, yeah, I know Superman doesn't hold back. Great, that's fine. But the Flash doesn't. When the Flash doesn't hold back, he's on another level. Like, he really is. Like, if the Flash traded places with Superman against his fight with Darkseid, and the Flash did that Speed Force, the Speed Force Flash, whatever, Darkseid would have gotten beaten just as well as Superman when Superman beat him. So yeah, that's my tier list. I know it's a little weird putting Flash at the very top, but I honestly do think the Flash is the most powerful member of the original 7. You wouldn't expect it because he's always joking, he's always like being carefree, but he hides that. Like, he, if he really wanted to, could take down pretty much anybody. Anyway, that's my tier list. As you noticed, I haven't put anybody in B tier because I'm saving that for the Justice League Unlimited video, which is coming up soon. I don't think Batman, Hawkgirl are B tier. I think they're still C tier. And the reason why is because the majority of the Justice League Unlimited group are going to be in B tier. A tier is really hard to get into, and S tier is even harder. So you really got to be pretty powerful to get in A tier. Now C tier is not bad at all, because there are going to be some characters, and you'd be surprised how many, that are going to be in F and E tier. So that is the tier list of the original 7 of the Justice League. And next time I will be doing the rest of the Justice League Unlimited. Until then, this has been Tender Chicken Guy, and if you like this video, let me know below who you think would be in the top tier, and if I should move anybody up or down. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching.
The streets will run red. If the blood comes in any different, only that's this time. I won't stop. You're just a greasy smear on my fist. Let's go.